on, it's on, it's on. And I say one from one, six. It's on, it's on, it's on. And welcome. I don't know what's going on. Welcome to another edition. I have an echo and it's on. Oh, turn it down. It's on. Okay, that's all righty. Welcome. I got two things here. Welcome to the More Slide Continues. And I'm trying to figure out why I have all this feedback. So I'm gonna ask you to bear with me. Okay, I see it. Okay, can you hear me now? Okay, hopefully, yeah, you can hear. Okay, we're only on one tab now. So, of course, let us begin with prayer. Islam, Islam, Islam. Allah, the Father of the universe, the Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is my protector, my guide, and my salvation. By night and by day, through his holy prophet, Drew Ali. Amen. And fix my crown. So, again, welcome to the Moorish Light, giving praises to the causeless cause and the rootless root from which all things have grown, which is the great God Allah. I honor the last prophet in this dispensation, Prophet Noble Drew Ali, the first, second, and third form. I give honor to Grand Sheikh John Gibbonsville, who built on the foundation that the prophet laid. And I give honor to Grand Sheikh Richardson Dingle, Prophet Noble Drew Ali III, for manifesting that foundation. Um, I like to give honor to Grand Sheikh Timothy Dingle, hyphen Prophet Noble Drew Ali, and that is Moses and Aaron, and we're going to talk about that tonight. Um, I like to give honor to the forefathers who sacrificed their lives that this nation could live or have a new birth of freedom, let me say that, or a true birth of freedom. I honor my home temple at 1055 North Milton Avenue. as well as our sister temple at 2900 West Pressman Street here in Baltimore, Maryland. Recognition is given to Grand Sheikess Tiffany Jones Bay, who is also our National Grand Sheikess of the Moorish Science Temple Divine and National Movement. I give honor to Supreme Grand Sheik and Sheikess Prather Il. I give honor to each and every one of you. We are not here to dispute charters, who is the Grand Sheik. We are not here for that. We're here to educate. Our purpose is to educate, to fortify soldiers who are ready to stand on this truth and gain our actual freedom. And of course, we know the truth is the light, and the light must shine. So, again, welcome to the Moorish Light, where the revolution is a podcast. So, we're going to start off as we usually do, reading from the Holy Quran of Mecca. I'm going to share my screen. And we're talking about Moses. We're reading from Surah 33. And it says, and he said, O Lord, I have slain a man among them, and I fear lest they slay me. It is that Moses is not reassured from all fear on account of the apparent snake, which his rod had become, or from the sacred and unfamiliar surroundings in which he found himself. On this point of his heart had been completely assured, but he is still new to his mission, and the future is obscure to his mind. Pharaoh was after him to take his life, and apparently with good cause, because of one of Pharaoh's men had been slain at his hands. The inner doubts and difficulties of his human mind he frankly lays before his Lord and asks for a little human invisible support, which is granted him once via the help of his brother Aaron. And 34 says, and my brother Aaron, he is more eloquent in speech than I. So send him with me as a helper to confirm and strengthen me, for I fear they may accuse me of falsehood. So we see that Moses and Aaron actually work together, because you oftentimes hear me say Grand Sheik Timothy Dingle and Grand Sheik Richardson Dingle. So before I finish explaining, let me see if I can find my biblical verse. I did look it up. Give me a second here. You can see I look up a lot of stuff. And I know I looked it up somewhere in here. Mm, maybe it's further down. No, that's not it. Hmm. It's, oh, where was it? Oh, you know what? That's easily fixed. So we're going to go to Exodus, the 7th chapter, verses 1 and 2. Because some people don't understand that the Quran and the Bible actually uh, work hand in hand, because it's telling the same truth. Because, see, some of us try to act like Islam is teaching one truth and the Bible's teaching another truth. No, they go hand in hand. They're not separate and distinct as some people would like us to think. So it says, and the Lord said unto Moses, see, I have made thee a god to Pharaoh, and Aaron thy brother shall be thy prophet. So we can see here where when we study the, and we can look at this historically, we can look at it divinely, however you like to look at it, the truth does not change from one holy record to the other. The truth is going to remain the same. If you go into a history book that's telling the truth, it's going to say the same exact thing. It's not no, there aren't any variations to the truth as some of us try to claim. So let me go back. I'm going to put this down for a second. And so I want us to be, Moorish Americans are supposed to be highly educated. We don't function off our opinion. We don't function off of our feelings. We function off of the truth. So I'm going to stop sharing. Figure out where it's at. So I'm going to stop sharing for a second. In our program tonight, we're going to actually review what we did in Washington, D.C. And we're also going to talk about the Constitution. So in our program, of course, we opened with the Divine Constitution and Bylaws. I'm not going to try to reenact it. I'm just going to kind of highlight some points. We had the opening prayer, which we said as a group. We had the Divine Constitution and Bylaws read by Sheikh Spey. Who we are as Moorish Americans was dealt with. And as I'm doing this, I'm also saying gratitude. So I don't want you to think I'm just saying it, but I'm also giving gratitude for the support in order to make actual Freedom Day manifest. Who we are was Sheikh Prayfield, and he explained who we are and what the movement is about. Then I sang the Battle Hymn of Republic. Sheikh Jones Bay read. Actually read the prefix from the tragic era, which gives us a good idea, a great picture of what Reconstruction actually was about. And I like to give honor to Sheikh Maddox Bey because I know he wanted to be there, as well as Sheikh Gwendolyn Johnson Bey. I know they wanted to be there, but they're my elders. We're elders together. I'm an elder as well. But they were there in spirit, and hopefully we will upload the video of what we did. Then we had the Gettysburg Address read by Prince Joyner Eel. The initial Emancipation Proclamation, the proposal, was explained by Sheikh B. Prather Eel, Sheikh Brendan Joyner Eel read the instructions for compensated emancipation, or the articles that were constitutional. Sheikh and Sheikh Valines Bay read the terms of surrender. That means they read the introduction of the December 8th proclamation, known as Reconstruction and Amnesty and Reconstruction. One read the introduction, the other read the actual oath that Lee had to take when he surrendered. Sheikh Hakeem Carter Bay read the Lincoln in Virginia, where he says, God has made you free. If your so-called masters do not know that you are free, take your sword and your bayonet and teach them that you are, because every man was born with inalienable rights of life, liberty, and freedom. So it was pretty good. We got to interact. And Mose, I'm going to say this to you because it bothers me that we think we're not supposed to uplift the European. He needs uplifting too, because everybody has caught some misunderstanding due to mental slavery. The whole country is actually needs some help. So more science can help everybody. But you have to be secure in yourself and no longer see the European as your so-called slave master. No longer see him as an enemy and see him as your equal, because he's as a man or as a woman. Because that's that slave mentality. Oh, he the devil. Oh, no, no, no. That's not how that was set up. When we helped him set up the Union, when I told him Moses was 35 Moors and 20 Anglo-Saxons, that we helped to set this Union up, we helped to set him free from King George, they want to fight and fuss about it. Why can't you just take credit for what your forefathers did? Our forefathers have been the leader of civilization throughout history. When we conquered nations, they prospered, they grew, they became industrious. One of the greatest things you can see, you can still go and see the architecture in Spain that our forefathers built in 700 AD. And this is 2025 and it's still standing. If only we truly, truly recognize who our forefathers were and what they did. Please stop giving the Europeans so much credit. Pat yourself on the back for a change. Stop putting him up there like he's somebody extra. No. As the old folks say, he put his pants on one leg at a time. And she put her dress over here just like you do, sis. So we need to really get that mentality. We need to get rid of that mentality. Because if we have that mentality, then that means we've learned to hate. And the prophet came to teach us to love instead of hate. So as we move along, I'm actually going to read those articles to you. But I want to talk about the prophet for a second. And I want to talk about, because I got most telling me we need that the prophet is not saying these things. So I want to talk about the Free National Constitution for a second. And I do have it here. And I'm going to go into the Moorish literature. Because for some reason, Moors don't want to go into the Moorish literature. Some of us want to read the oral statements, and these are the words of the prophet. So I'm not understanding why you're not in the Moorish literature. Well, while I'm here, I noticed that a lot of most, and I'm going to read from the Moorish Leader's Historical Message to America before I go into the Free National Constitution. And I want us to understand something. We organized as the Moorish Science, as the Moorish Temple of Science in the year 1925, and were legally incorporated as a civic organization under the laws of the state of Illinois, November 29th, 1926. The name Moorish Temple of Science was changed to Moorish Science Temple of America, May 1928, in accordance with the legal requirements of the Secretary of State of Illinois. So a change is it's no longer a civic organization. Catch up with the prophet. The object of our organization is to help in a great program of uplifting humanity and teaching those things necessary to make our members better citizens. It says a national organization with a Rotarian complexion as it relates to Branch Temple became obvious with the increasing number of inquiries from men and women in different sections of the country concerning the purpose of the organization. There are branch temples in 15 different states at this time. It says since the work of the Moorish Science Temple of America was largely religious, the organization has been legally changed to a religious corporation. And an affidavit to that effect has been properly filed in the Cook County Recorder's Office of Illinois. And that is your authority. August the 1st, 1928, 2:52 p.m., what is and was a new era of time. So a lot of y'all keep saying we're teaching civics. The prophet had to first teach us citizenship before he could teach us civics. We needed to understand citizenship, and we still need to understand citizenship because citizenship is the equalizer for everyone who calls themselves an American. And not just American, just plain old American. And because I was Let me see, make sure I'm going in the right. I'm going back to the page I originally. But you need to understand. See, you need to understand because see, some of y'all got religious phobia, and you need to understand what can be done under a religious corporation. The purchasing of land, the you can open businesses, you can do open schools, but we don't get that concept because some of us think religion is a curse. Gosh, I wish y'all catch up with the prophet. So, let's see. I have page 3 here. So this is divine warning by the prophet for the nations. And he's so clear. He says there's but one issue for them to be recognized by this government and of the earth, and it comes only through the connection of the Moorish divine national movement, which is incorporated in this government and recognized by all other nations of the world. So obviously, from this statement, the prophet has already done his job. So I'm trying to understand. And when I say done his job, he has opened the door of recognition for us. Now listen to this. Through it, they and their children can receive their divine rights unmolested by other citizens. They can cast a free national ballot to the polls under the free national constitution of the state's government and not under granted privilege as has been the existing condition for many generations. I'm just trying to introduce y'all to the prophet because I can talk personally, yeah, but it's not about me. It's not about you. It's about these divine and national instructions we were given. So he says here, I am hereby calling on all true citizens that stand for a national free government and the enforcement of the Constitution to help me in my great missionary work because I need all support from all true American citizens of the United States of America. He's not excluding anybody. You just can't make everybody Moorish Americans. You can't do that because you're robbing somebody of their birthrights. The prophet clearly says, "Do not marry into the pale-skinned nations of Europe." Everything the prophet tells us not to do, that's the first thing we do. I don't know what is it. Why is that? So he says, if Italians, Greeks, English, Chinese, Japanese, Turks, and Arabians are forced to proclaim their free national name and religion before the constitutional government of the United States of America, it is no more than right that that law must be enforced upon all other American citizens alike. In other governments, when a man is born or raised there and asks for his national descent name and he fails to give it, he is misused, imprisoned, or exiled because they place their trust upon issues and names that are neither a part of, they place their trust upon issues and names that they are neither a part or partial of. Neither were they formed by their forefathers. Any group of people that fail to answer up to the constitutional standards of law by name and principle. Because to be a citizen of any government, you must claim your national descent name because they place their trust upon issues and names formed by their forefathers. So, as we go through this lesson, I'm trying to understand because I got Mose say so many uh, different things. Now, the prophet clearly tells us, he says, through your free national name, you're known and recognized by all nations of the earth that are recognized by said national government in which they live. The 14th and 15th Amendments brought the North and South in unit, placing the Southerners, who were at that time without power, with the constitutional body of power. At that time in 1865, the free national constitutional law that was in force since 1774 declared all men equal and free. And if all men are declared by the free national constitution to be free and equal, since that constitution has never been changed, there is no need for the application of the 14th and 15th Amendment for the salvation of our people and citizens. So, when we talk about our salvation, we have to talk about a process. And that process is called compensated emancipation. Now, I know all y'all talking about you want some reparations, but the problem with reparation is you want to also stay black. Black is color. I don't care however you want to put it, however you like to dress it up. You can put some Muslim clothes on it, some Christian clothes on it. It's still a color and does not apply to people. So there were some articles that were signed into law, and this is taken out of the compensated proclamation. It says, resolve the Senate and House of Representatives of the United States of America and Congress assembled, two-thirds of both houses concurring, that the following articles be proposed to the legislatures or conventions of the several states as amendments to the Constitution of the United States, all of any which articles, when ratified by three-fourths of the said legislatures or conventions, be valid as part or parts of the said Constitution. 1. Every state wherein slavery now exists, which shall abolish the same therein at any times or times before the first day of January in the year of our Lord 1900, shall receive compensation from the United States as follows, to wit. Come to history and law class to get the rest of the story. That's compensation. Article 2. All slaves who have enjoyed actual freedom by chances of the law at any times before the end of the rebellion shall be forever free. But all owners of such who shall not have been disloyal shall be compensated for them at the same rates as provided for the states, adopting abolishment of slavery, but in such a way that no slave shall be twice accounted for. That's naturalization. That's the educational part of compensated emancipation. And then thirdly, we have Congress shall appropriate money for colonizing free colored persons with their own consent at any place or places within the United States. And that is colonization. And that's basically when it became law December 15th, 1862. So here we are running around here talking about we want reparations, but we want to stay on the mental plantation. Isn't that a problem? You don't see that as a problem? I would. So, of course, also on our flyer, we have historyandlaw.net, which is now Divine and National Instructions, but our website is still historyandlaw.net. We have our temple's website, which is nobledrewalley.org. We have the Science of More Science, which is my YouTube station. We also have our More Sense. Let's see, I don't have on this one. Also have More Sense YouTube station. So, and also on the flyer, we always quote from the Divine Warning, which I just read to you. So it's no harm in reading it a second time, is it? Nope, I don't think so. I am hereby calling on all true citizens that stand for a national free government and the enforcement of the Constitution to help me in my great missionary work, because I need all support from all true American citizens of the United States of America to help me to save my people who have fallen from the constitutional laws of the government. I am depending on your support to get them back to the constitutional fold again, that they will learn to love instead of hate and will live according to love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, supporting our free national constitution of the United States of America. The prophet is consistent in what he says that we need. He's consistent with it. If we go to the prophet, makes a plea to the nation. And and I'm going to read this, but I'm going to break it down as I read it. And he said he's talking to the nation. Our divine and national movement stands for the specific grand principles of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. And I, the prophet, am applying to all, and listen to what he says, loyal, faithful Moors, members, and the American citizens to help me in my great uplifting acts of uplifting fallen humanity among the Asiatic race and nation. So he's talking to three groups of people here. He's talking to the faithful Moors, the members, and the American citizens. If we read Acts 6, with Acts 6, it says, with us, all members must proclaim their nationality. And we are teaching our people their nationality and their divine creed. Because there is a problem in the land, and we have the solution. But if we aren't humble enough and intelligent enough to respect the prophet who brought the solution, how do you ever expect to get out of this mess? Some of us so wise, we think we smart, we think a law ordained us. But let me read. 4. Here's what you need to understand. This is the prophet speaking. For I have suffered much and severely in the past through a misunderstanding of what the movement was dedicated to. Seems to still be a problem. It is the great God Allah alone that guides the destiny of this divine and national movement. I know all true American citizens are identified by national descent names to answer and apply to the free national constitution of this free national republic of the United States of America. That's why I'm calling on all true national citizens to help me morally and financially in my great work I am doing to help this national government. That's what we should be doing, helping the national government. For without a free national name, with a decent flag of your forefathers, there is not a national divine title of government in which we live. And this is from your true and divine prophet unto all American and foreign sympathizers. So the prophet is not exclusively talking to Moorish Americans, but Moorish Americans think the prophet is exclusively talking to you. When he says, when it says in, I think it's Savior of Humanity, and it says here, in this electrified age, men are racing into life without complete knowledge of where they are going, what the end will be. When riches seem to be their only pursuit to be obtained any way and at any cost. When selfishness, avarice, greed, and lust dominate their very being. If that doesn't describe our society today, let's say, what is it again? When selfishness, avarice, greed, and lust dominate their very being. Now, in case somebody don't know what avarice means, I'm gonna be nice. I'm gonna look it up. I'm gonna do it on my phone so I don't have to use my space. And so if you're not hearing this, I will, for some reason, when I post this, it never goes public. So I will definitely, if you go to my YouTube page, it's live, and it's live on Facebook right now. Avarice, insatiable greed for riches, and inordinate, miserly desire to gain and hoard wealth. Being, I'm not a millionaire, so I can't speak on what that is like. What I can speak on is that with $1 million, you still have this need to belong. You still have this need to be recognized. And some of us think that $1 million will get that done for us. But it starts from the inside out. So you can't buy your way into self love. You can't buy your way into citizenship. You can't buy your way into you can't buy your way into equity. You can only buy your way into deception. Because all the things that give you value can't be bought with money. It says when selfishness, avarice, and greed and lust dominate their very being, when humanity in general is left at the mercy of those who have no mercy in them. There's this group I belong to, and they just be hating on women, never ever taking accountability that men are supposed to be the protectors. They're supposed to be the ones helping us to feel comfortable enough to be feminine. But the European got us. You let the European have your women. You let the European direct us. And then you get mad at the monster he creates. Because you, old man, don't want to stand up for your nation and your people. You got big wolf tickets for each other. But what are you actually demanding for the children, for the women? What are you actually standing up for? It says it is truly wonderful and astounding to see one come into this mad human drama for the sole purpose of saving humanity, losing all sight on those things worldly and yielding absolutely to a cause higher than it has ever yet been attained. This picture is the likeness of Prophet Noble Drew Ali, who is serving humanity. I got people telling me, oh, you don't need to say prophet so much. Well, did you get ordained by law? Just a question. Maybe I missed something. Coming as he does with a message for the nations in somewhat the same manner as did Jesus, Muhammad, Buddha, Confucius, and other prophets of their day. Only the things of this prophet day differs from the ills of the days of the past. And yet the remedy for the ills of the day is about the same as the remedy for the days past. All turning on the pivot love for humanity. Humanity must be lifted from the unwholesome depths of poverty, misery, suffering, and placed on the solid rock of salvation. There are some who claim to do this, but upon investigation, one finds that they slouched under the wings of their cross to extract from those who come to them means by which they can have the pleasures of this life while they point their followers to joy after death. While they feed their sheep, they also shear them while eating. At the close of the day, the master will be heard to tell them all, you have your reward, get hence. Rare is it that you find a real prophet whose mission is the salvation of the nations. The land is full of false prophets whose mission is to fleece the people. The time was and now is that there come into a land a prophet in the likeness of his brothers to redeem them from sin and slavery. Sin and slavery. You hear that? Sin, to redeem them from sin and slavery. Sin and slavery. Truly, this prophet Noble Drew Ali is the man, bringing with him the message of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, which alone can save the nations with an S. Like the coming of Jesus, he does not come from the elect, nor the rich, nor the mighty in worldly power, but all power is given to him to do good. This power is from Allah. It will be his works that will make men of every nation accept the truth that he brings. We we got to demonstrate it though. We got to demonstrate it. It will be through his teachings that the nation of the earth will understand the will of the master. It will be through him that peace on earth and goodwill to all men shall come. It will be through his work that humanity will be brought from the slime of life and placed on the solid rock of salvation by Prophet Noble Drew Ali. So let me stop sharing for a minute just in case y'all think I'm gone. I'm still here. I'm still here. So my main focus today is just to let you know the prophet talks about the United States Constitution. He does. He talks about us being part and parcel of the government. He teaches these things. I just want to know, when are we going to catch up with the prophet? Or slow down to the prophet? Maybe that's the name I'm using the wrong term. Slow down and meet the prophet, because some of us try to jump and get ahead of him. See, the truth itself doesn't change. It doesn't change from one book to the other book. The truth remains what it is. It will not change. It will not change divinely. It will not change historically. It will not change constitutionally. It will not change morally. And it will not change nationally. As we talk about a government, let's talk about the government in this aspect. A government of the people, by the people, and for the people. People, you have to be accountable. Stop letting these Democrats and Republicans dictate to you what you need. It's your job to dictate to them. But you in these party arguments and you arguing over here because he a Democrat, you arguing over here because he Republican. No, we the people. We the people need our voice heard. But if the people don't know what to ask for, if the people don't know what to tell the government to do, then they're going to keep doing what they do. And who catches the brunt of it? The people. This is the only nation I know that does not look out for the children and the elderly. Most nations take care of their children and the elderly. I pray that they do it, and I still pray that they do. But we got to get it together. Stop letting technology dictate to your children. It removes their empathy. Then the children begin to try to think and apply themselves like they little adults. They're not. They're children. They deserve a purity in life. They deserve a childhood. And childhood has not really changed. Children love to work with their hands, their five senses. Not always have something smart to say out their mouth. Not always being grown, because some of y'all think that what you let these children do is cute until they get up to your size and challenge you as a parent or challenge other adults. And some of them are challenged because they're in pain. And you have not been able to help these babies out because you don't want to change the conditions that cause them to suffer. So, it's a lot of things that I could really go into, but I'm going to. I like I have to do my research. I have to read and read and read and read and read. And so when I say we the people, I need us to listen to this paragraph. And this is from the 1883 decision. And I know I'm going a lot of different places because I don't have a specific, I have a destination. And I'm sure I've covered that. But I want us to listen to this paragraph. And it reads like this. When a man has emerged from slavery by the aid of beneficent legislation, has shaken off the inseparable concomitants of that state, there must be some stage in the progress of his elevation when he takes the rank of a mere citizen and ceases to be the special favorite of the laws, and when his rights as a citizen or a man are to be protected in the ordinary modes by which other men's rights are protected. And I'm going to take it a step further. There were thousands of free colored persons in the country before the abolition of slavery, enjoying all the essential rights of life, liberty, and property, the same as white citizens. Yet no one at that time thought it was an invasion of their personal status as a free man because they were not admitted to all the privileges enjoyed by white citizens, or because they were subject to discrimination and the enjoyments of accommodation, inns, public conveyances, and public amusement. Mere discrimination on account of race or color were not regarded as badges of slavery. If since that time the enjoyment of equal rights in all respects has become established by constitutional enactment, it is not by the force of the 13th Amendment, which merely abolishes slavery, but by the force of the 14th Amendment. On the whole, we are of the opinion that no countenance of authority for the passage of the law in question can be found in either the 13th or 14th Amendment of the Constitution, and no other ground of authority for its passage being suggested, it must necessarily be declared void, at least as far as its operation in the several states is concerned. Void, 1883, void, 1883, void. What then they went in with Brown versus Board of Education, and he went in the trash and got that mess, pulled it out, and handed it back to us. Took it out the trash, y'all. The court already said it wasn't no good. Took it out the trash and gave it back to us. And here we are today, the great imitators, perpetuating a system that does not look out for our best interests or respect our originality or put us back in the families of nations. We need to stop evaluating, and we truly need to think about that. Um, I um, I hope, and I don't hope. I know a change is going to come. I'm going to keep teaching because you know what? There are going to be some more that's going to help me teach and help move this thing forward, because this stagnation is not going to get it. This illusion of us talking to each other is not going to get it. We need workers in the vineyard who are willing to learn. And I know it's a lot of intelligent moles out here, but let us come together. I'll say wise. I won't say intelligent. I'll say wise. And we need to come together. And we need to do what is necessary. Now, of course, our program is about to come to an end because you know that I don't do it. I only do this for an hour. And it is essential You most need to study this Moorish literature so we can get on the same page. Put down the oral statements, study your Moorish literature so we can get on the same page. It's wonderful to study the Quran. It's wonderful to study the Holy Quran. It's wonderful we have our divine constitution and bylaws. But you need to read the Moorish literature so that we can run our movement accordingly. Because the prophet says one thing in there that should wake us all up. We should have a national treasure. And until we have a national treasure, we are nothing. Not my words. So, of course, we've come down to that hour. I never did. I always promised I'm going to read one of my poems. And I wasn't ready again. And my phone about to die. I'll do this one. I think this is quick. I sat by Jesus near the flowing stream. I sat and listened and read many things, but the truth was bold and touched my soul. I changed. No longer did I question who, what, when, where, how, or why. Then I realized the greatest reality of all time: be myself and not someone else. I was kneeling in prayer and I rose in the divine and national standards of my forefathers and foremothers. Never give up, never give up, never give up. The fight to save yourself will help save many others. Fortify for the reality. Everything must change. I froze in fear and doubt and unbelief. And then I studied and became the real me. So I fight and I pursue and I stand on the truth, not to recreate or redefine, but standing and shining in the boldness of its light, glowing from the inside out. A true day of freedom is about to manifest. A true day of freedom is about to manifest. Are you ready to do away with this mess? Destroy the falsehood, the illusional foundation. Build on the sure and solid foundation. Destiny, destiny, destiny. Proclaim, standing in my birthright, letting my light shine, knowing no matter the struggle, we get what's mine. So you doubters, you haters, please step aside. Prophet Noble Jew Ali and Allah are on my side. So we thank you and appreciate you for allowing us to bring to you the Moorish light. Remember, embrace the prophet, embrace divine and national. No, embrace the prophet, embrace the law, embrace divine and national, embrace one another, and please embrace the mission. So, without further ado, in love and understanding, I will say